is the Bobsy Twins coming to you live.
You've been sleeping too long.
Oh, we just love Decal. So we're here to introduce you to his new podcast.
Let me tell you, he's fun and loving.
And witty and handsome and down to earth. And that's what we're here bringing you. E.I.T.H.R, the podcast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Woo-hoo.
So, let's start with the E.I.T.H.R.
You're listening to the E.I.T.H.R podcast with Decal.
Welcome everybody, it is Decal here at the E.I.T.H.R podcast, episode number 120. Good afternoon, evening, or if you're in another part of the planet, good morning to you. E.I.T.H.R podcast, Elephant in the Room, where we talk about issues and topics that you generally cannot have with your peers. The purpose of my podcast is so that way you see things from different perspectives. Not trying to necessarily change your mind, but at least give you a different insight to see things from a different angle. So even if you choose to continue to believe what it is that you feel, at least you'll see something from a different angle. Just want to enlighten, devil's advocate, if you will. You can hit us up on social media at the E.I.T.H.R, TheEITHR, on Instagram or on Twitter. You can also find us on the Spreaker app, SPREAKER, where you can create a profile and you'll be able to chat with me on this episode live or after it's posted, or any of the previous episodes that we have done about any of the topics that we have talked about. Wanted to go ahead and give you guys a breakdown of what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to do our normal shout out, inspirational, motivational, and we're going to talk about a few things that we have listed in the heading. But I just want to address something real quick. I want to give thanks to a few people. Shout out to my boy Nick, aka Jerome. We grew up with each other since elementary school. When my parents moved from Oakland to Castro Valley, he was the kid right down the street. Cool dude, solid dude. He hit me up last night and gave me his opinion about him listening to the podcast for the first time, and he, gave me some kudos and exactly what it's about. He messaged me on how he doesn't necessarily agree with everything I says and he wants to argue it, but it forces him to see things from a different angle that he normally wouldn't do. I want to give a shout out to Mina, my girl Lisa Monique. We've known each other since 8th grade, and she's out there in Pennsylvania. She was really engaged in the last episode of 119 on the podcast, and so we had a deep dish conversation on what that was about, and some other people, my homegirl Jay out in Oregon, Boyo out there in Florida. These are some of the people who engaged with me on just yesterday's topic alone. So I just want to give a shout out to you guys and let you know in my Tupac voice, you are appreciated. So for those who are new, again, to the E.I.T.H.R podcast, welcome. To those who are returning, welcome back. So I want to give a shout out to Meade Valley, California, which is out there in LA County. And the purpose for this shout out is you guys have been voted the most stressed city in California. I guess that's something to be proud of. Not just California, but the most stressed in the United States. So good on you for being number one. Listen, it's even though I poke fun at that shit, that's not funny. Like, no one should be the most stressed out of anything. If anything, it should be a competition to be the least stressed out. That's the goal, right? But consideration, over 40 hours a week, cost of living, unemployment, so on and so forth, they take the cake. Also, for inspirational, motivational, Mead Valley, California, you might want to listen to this right here. It's a slow process, but quitting won't speed it up. Whatever it is you guys are trying to accomplish, slow progress beats no progress. And I'm a walking testament to you only fail if you quit. And sometimes positive momentum, positive advancement doesn't seem positive in the beginning. And it's a lot of seeds you have to plant daily when it comes to your effort and everything that you want to do. So, especially living in an instant gratification time, you have to learn how to be patient, which I think is going to come back around as a trait eventually. But right now, this is kind of the turning point where everyone is having difficulty with maintaining some patience on whatever it is they want to choose. And slow and steady, baby. Slow and steady. So we're going to get into a couple of things. I'm going to get a word from my sponsor right quick. And then when we come back to the podcast, we'll get into this business. We're going to keep it short so you guys can enjoy the rest of your hump day. It's the Eat the Podcast with DK. I'll be right back.
Stop stalling and start miling. Mile.today. That's MILE.today. Mile today. Make it look easy.
Hey, this your girl Key, and I'm calling from Compton, and you listening to E.I.T.H.R podcast with D-Cal.
Hey, did you guys know that the GOP is attempting to impeach Joe Biden? Yeah, stop the music. You guys didn't know that? Okay. Just give you a heads up. Maybe because we were all of a sudden being out of nowhere engulfed with the submersible that went to go see the Titanic. But yeah, they're bringing articles to impeach Joe Biden, and it is for, I can go ahead and read you this right here. Impeaching Joseph R. Biden, President of the United States, for abuse of power by enabling bribery and other high crimes and misdemeanors. There's a whole thing. But yeah. Also with some issues with his substance abused son. So if you didn't know, now you know. All right, we'll put the music back on. But we are aware that Joe Biden was using a CPAP machine. That's breaking news, because in a photo or video, you can see the markings on his face. So we just have to let the world know Sleepy Joe using a CPAP, which is unheard of for a president. I mean, damn. You got a lot going on with dude. But yeah, that's that. So anyway, I just want to make sure you guys got breaking news. Oh, Joe Biden being impeached. Because like I said, you really don't see it anywhere on the news unless you specifically look for it. And, well, you know, if they want you to know, they're going to shove it in your face. If they don't want you to know, well, out of sight, out of mind. So, you know, there's that right there. So now we got Joe Biden out of the way. I put this on my social media of what's the wildest or the strangest or the most interesting pickup line someone ever gave to you, or the most bizarre way someone's ever try to pick you up. Think about that, right? One of my homegirls, when I asked that, she inboxed me. It's like one of the most bizarre way a guy has ever tried to pick me up. I think she was like jogging or walking on the street or something like that. And he just like, get in the car. That was one. Trying to think of the most. Oh, I remember when me and Andy used to do security, whether it's for the nightclub or for the bar scene. I had some real good ones. Like, I was just throwing them out there, like just entertaining the drunk crowd. So, I know one of them was I did an impersonation of Leon Phelps. If you guys remember Leon Phelps, the ladies' man, I did an impersonation of him and asked the woman if I can take her out to get a fish sandwich. If you know that character, you know what I'm talking about. The other one, this killed Andy. Like, I would try to crack jokes and try to make this dude fall, like literally fall. And twice I came close, where his legs buckled, but he was just able to catch his footing. And one time there was a railing there, and he was able to use the railing to keep himself up. But man, let me tell you something. I had some good ones, but there was one in particular. We were out there just talking, and I don't know. It's sometimes when you were just in the mood, you're in the vibe, you you just pop off at the top of your head. So one I said to this person, to this lady walking by, I said, "Excuse me, miss. I'm just curious. Have you ever seen the movie Shrek?" And she was like, no, why? I said, yeah, because you got a donkey. He couldn't believe I said it. Her friend got it immediately. She was still trying to figure out the punchline. If you get it, you probably shook your head, closed your eyes, cracked a smile, and was just like, oh no, he didn't. Or you probably called me a name. You're mean for that. But I was younger. That was in my heyday. I'm reformed now. I've regained my purity. I no longer think in that way, for I have found the righteous way. But it was still funny. What were some of the most interesting things people have done to get your number, to get your attention, to get you to be with them? Like, it's kind of fun when you look back at it when you were younger, right? In today's age, that shit won't fly. Today's age, you'll get charges pressed against you so quickly. I mean, 15 years, boy, that makes a hell of a difference when you do it that way. we're going to get into this AI thing, but I want to share this. I put this on the social media. Again, you guys can find it at the Ether, whether it's Instagram or whether it's Twitter. I put the caption of life is about to get more, quote unquote, fun, if you can believe it. And this is from Instagram account Entrepreneurship Facts. The U.S. just approved Bill Gates' lab-grown meat. Yes. Here's their caption. Like to hear it, here it go. Synthetic meat has been promoted by Bill Gates and the globalist elites at the World Economic Forum as the solution to climate change. Because that's the problem. For the first time, U.S. regulators on Wednesday approved the sale of chicken made from animal cells, allowing 2 California companies to offer lab-grown, quote-unquote, meat to the nation's restaurants' tables and eventually supermarket shelves. The Agriculture Department gave the green light to the Upside Foods, backed by Bill Gates, and Good Meat firms that had been racing to be the first in the U.S. to sell meat that doesn't come from slaughtered animals. What's now being referred to as cell cultivated or cultured meat as it emerges from the laboratory and arrives on dinner plates. The fuck out of here. Yo. This is where we're at. So just so you know. I mean, but if you really think of it, like how much different, I know it's lab grown. I get that part. How much different would that be from the processed meat that we eat currently right now from fast food? I think the difference is with this, I just read you what the origin of the meat is going to be, lab grown, versus what bologna is. I love them, but do you know how they make hot dogs? Beef links, sausages, do you know what they do to make those? If the answer is no, you might want to think before you go ahead and order another Casper's hot dog, Costco hot dog, or beef link from bar as packaged from your local supermarket. Again, I like hot dogs and links and sausage and stuff like I dig it. But when you realize how it's made, ew. I don't know how to feel about this because, for the climate control. In my opinion, man, a lot of these elitists, as they say in the hood, they really love to use blanket statements and use phrases and sweep certain things under an umbrella category when it comes to doing things. I get it, but I don't get it. I think what it is, the prices are going up when you have, it's the cost, man. When you boil it down and you break it down, it's the cost of everything. It just, they want to pay less so they can make more. The sad part about the whole thing is we are the one who has to eat that shit up. And I'm, pun intended, right? But we can't really expect anything less from our government to approve of it. Just think of it this way. Bring a government official to your house and make them a plate of the food they sell us and watch how they come up with every excuse of why they can't eat it. You see what I'm saying? It's wild, man. It's wild. I do this, y'all. If your grandparents are still alive today, or if you know somebody that has, what is that, a green thumb? Have someone show you how to garden. Shout out to my homegirl, Erin. Gorga, this is for you. If you know anyone that knows how to garden, have them show you how. Have them teach you how. Because if you're able to grow your own fruits and veggies, you can save not only a whole lot of money on food, but you can save a whole hell of a lot of money when it comes to medical. Because this processed synthetic, it's not naturally created, it's man created. So imagine the side effects it's going to possibly be to this stuff. And you know, it's wild, man. To me, it's really wild. But that's kind of what we got going. So I want to talk about all the wonders of artificial intelligence. There's an article right here that I shared on the social media from Newsbreak, and I'll just read bits and parts of it. If you want to read the rest of it for yourself, just so you can know, you can go to the social media pages and you can find it. But the heading is Artificial Intelligence now translating hundreds and thousands of ancient documents and offering it to cure cancer. This is kind of where it gets scary for them. Since the airing of 2001, A Space Odyssey, a 1968 Stanley Kubrick film, our culture has been leery of robots, aka artificial intelligence, taking over the world. So it kind of gets into, you know, the Wall-E and all that fun stuff. Many science fiction movies before and after have focused on the same premise. Undoubtedly, artificial intelligence, AI, has changed the fabric of our society. Yet as computers become integral and functional in our country, there remain much conflict between those who want to reap the benefits and those who would rather halt progress out of fear. Elon Musk has much to say about AI. If you create a super intelligent AI that has its own goals and can improve itself, it will destroy humanity. Or AI will be the best or worst thing ever for humanity. Before I continue, here's my problem. Humanity is already destroying humanity. I think what's happening is the humanity that supersedes over the majority of humanity feels AI will outsmart them, out-control them, put them in the box that they have us in, to where now they have, I don't know, no control, no say-so over what they can do, and will be regulated. The doctor doesn't want to subscribe to their own medicine, but they're about to meet a new pharmaceutical who possibly was going to give them a dose whether they like it or not. I do see the bad for majority of us as well, because there's no emotion, there's no empathy. It's just zeros and ones, right? It's just algorithms. It's simply just a synthetic version of reasonable thinking. So it can harm. But if you guys also remember the 2004 movie I, Robot, it can also do its own thesis or rationalization and sit back and say, here's an imbalance in society with humanity where this large group amount of people is being overseen by this smaller group amount of people because of the fiscal power or some type of financial stranglehold. If we release the hold and give them more say-so to kind of level it out, it won't be so bad, which that's where the elitists possibly is where it may happen. That they will be judged by the same rules they judge us by, by a being that they created and cannot have any power over. That's just my 4 cents, if you will. Continue reading. A post in the New York Times teases us with the catchy headline, AI develops cancer treatment in 30 days. Predicts survival rate. First of all, me and my homegirl, Caprona, out there in Kansas City, Kansas. I don't want to think she's Kansas City, Missouri. She's Independence. Sorry, she's in Independence. I want to make sure I get her hood right. I don't want to disrespect her like that. So they already got the cure for cancer. Matter of fact, they killed the person who cured cancer. Rest in peace, Dr. Sebi. A recent study published in the journal Chemical Science, researchers at the University of Toronto, along with In Silico Medicine, developed a potential treatment for hepatocellular carcinoma, HCC, with an AI drug discovery platform called Pharma.ai. Researchers applied AlphaFold, an AI-powered protein structure database, to Pharma.ai to uncover a novel target, a previously unknown treatment pathway for cancer, and developed a novel hit molecule that could bind to the target without aid. Though clinical trials will be needed, one has to wonder how many years it would have taken humans to make this discovery. Basically, within a month's time, according to what I just read you, they were able to develop something that can potentially cure cancer within 30 days. You mean to tell me all these decades of cancers existing, they haven't developed a cure? I call the initials of Britney Spears on that, right? Because the money isn't in the cure, the money's in the medicine. And this is kind of where I'm getting at when I feel they're afraid of being put into a box. Because the one thing that they can control, the cure, AI will most likely reason within itself and distribute that amongst people who need it. It's for the simple fact that people need it. They're not going to see a profit margin with it. They're going to simply see a rate of success. And they're going to use that as their logic, that as their decipher, whether it's good or bad. Money will be lost by some of these companies. And I feel that's the biggest problem, is curing a problem that they've been handling medicine for decades. Curing a problem that they've been profiting off of the medicine for decades. Again, you can find this article on the social media for Instagram or Twitter, or you can just Tracy Carbone. I believe she's the blogger for this, out of Simi Valley. Okay, so go ahead and peek that, man. That's I think what happens is when these elitists create these things to make themselves better, they don't look at the future of, okay, how is this going to come back and bite us in the ass? Because in most cases, if you think about it, everything these folks have done to get a super ahead of the curve, it's come back to bite them. And then later on, they now got to try to play flip side of the coin to counter that, which creates even more problems. But I feel that's the biggest issue when you have love for money. And you have to be in charge of everything. You destroy while you build. That's just my opinion. And right now, they are possibly trying to destroy something that they were trying to build to keep themselves from having to do unnecessary and excess work. And see, scrolling in this article right here, just to go a little bit further. Recently, Heritage Daily published an article explaining AI is translating 5,000-year-old cuneiform tablets instantly using neural machine learning. The paper, published in the journal PNAS Nexus from Oxford University Press, states researchers have applied the AI program to translate Akkadian texts with the high level of accuracy. Akkadian is the ancient East Semitic language once spoken in various regions of ancient Mesopotamia. Imagine being able to give okay, here's the scary part. Imagine being able to give AI old school Aramaic to translate. And you hear, you see the words, for my religious folk, of Jesus Christ. His word. Here's the problem. What will you do when you find that the word of Christ contradicts that the word of man rewritten to shape the vision that they have? We live in a world, right, where if something is written and you don't agree with it, it's fake. We live in a world, if something is written and you don't agree with it, it's made up. It's not factual. What if Jesus wrote, listen, Christ was the most woke person to ever walk this earth. What if his writings actually translate to everything majority of people are fighting against? What if? What do you do then? Do you jump ship and pick another religion? Do you get upset and say, why have the people that I believed in lie to me? Deeper fact, what if the elitists see that, realizes that, recognizes that, and the elitists then turn around and say, we can't allow this to happen to the rest of the world, so therefore, we're going to have to reword it again. And people are just going to have to figure that out. Interesting, right? I think that's interesting because if you really look at stuff, try not to curse right there. The information that we get is clearly altered, edited, omitted, changed, reformed, embellished. And then it's breaking news. How will we know what the translation is? And I feel with AI, that's the scary part that they can't control, because they now have a system that's super smart, more advanced than they expected it to be, running into a situation where, shit, we can't stop this thing, huh? Nope. This train is a moving, and we don't have the brakes to slow it down. Now, we can pull the plug and just try to gather it, but how far has it gone already? So, keeping with the artificial intelligence argument, hip hop legend Redman. I don't know if anyone's ever seen this, read this, or know about this. But I heard about a week or two ago, they will be using artificial intelligence to basically replace DJs and folks on the radio. Music executives at record labels. Because the algorithm that they'll set up is going to be, and the way that the DJ, the way the host explained it was, all you got to do is look at certain patterns and certain details of what constitute a hit, what constitutes a hit in the past, during a certain time, during a certain era. What's popular? What do people like? What you'll start to notice trends, whether it's BPMs, whatever the case may possibly be. And a radio station driven by AI will be able to determine this is going to be a hit. Now, they don't have the feel of the song. They don't have the emotion behind the song. You're not going to have the energy behind the song. DJ Quick says, when you make music analog with tape, and there's a party in that studio, there's a party in that room, the energy from that party magnetically attaches to the tape. It gets put into the fibers of the music. So when the music is played, that energy is dispersed out. If AI can artificially create a hit, there's no energy there because it's coded. It's zeros and ones. It's artificially created. Not to say that the song would be bad. And it's only going to be a hit because according to our algorithm, these are what hits look like. This is what they seem to be. This is kind of where the radio is getting to. This is where the music industry is getting to. So he basically was like, don't let the music industry, determine what good music is. And that's mad crucial, man. Like, it's seriously important because music is soulful. Music is a universal language that any and everyone can understand, feel, and vibe to. So when it's synthetic versus authentic, that can alter the fabric of life. You see what I'm saying? And music used to be more about the artist. Now music is more about the prophet. And I think what people should do is make sure you understand what it is that you like. And make sure you understand why you don't like it. For example, people say they hate things not because they hate them. They just hate things because everyone likes it and they want to be different. They want to stand out. Prime example of someone hating something. Nickelback. No, you do not hate Nickelback. Shut up. No, you don't. What you hate is the oversaturation of Nickelback on the radio. Because no one hates a song but knows the words to it. Every time This Reminds Me comes on the radio, you know the words to the song. After you say you hate it, you recite it. That's not hating it. But what happens is they overplayed the damn thing. It was a hit because they forced it to be a hit. The people in charge liked it, so they wanted us to like it too. That's a problem. And I've said this on numerous different occasions when it comes to certain things. If they want you to like something, they're going to force feed it. If they want you to know something, they're going to force feed it. They have an agenda of what they want to be done. And that's another conversation about record execs and contracts and shit. Because there are artists out there, Taylor Swift is one, who is realizing how these record labels are really scamming you. Not just us, but the artists themselves. Going back to artificial intelligence when it comes to the music industry. They're the kind of people, I feel, that if AI was to get its digital hands in the music, when it comes to contracts, when it comes to compensation, these execs are going to be able, they're not going to be able to have much say so. The ones who don't have good intention for their artists are going to have the biggest problem with this. If anyone remembers the artist Chameleonaire, he's one of his biggest hits was the song Riding Dirty. He tells a story about how he got in touch with Jay-Z's auditor or Jay-Z's accountant or somebody, and they suggested for him to go through and audit his contract. And so they went through and they audited everything, and they found that this record label that he was signed to withheld $600,000 that they owed him. And he never would have found that if he did an audit. But he was under contract. And he was like, okay, you guys need to let me go. Let me go. Give me my $600,000 and let me go. I'm done with y'all. And they said, you're under contract. We don't have to let you go. He says, listen, give me my money and let me go. Or I'm going to go to every single artist that's signed to your label and have them go through and do an audit of their contracts as well. I don't remember the time frame, but he said after he told them that, they let him go of his contract because they did not want him to have them audit. If artificial intelligence is in charge of that, I feel the dirty execs behind the record label, oh boy, they're going to be SOL, right? Fat meat is greasy, right? So I think with artificial intelligence in all of its splendor, it's going to be well for society, but it isn't going to be well for those who are accustomed to being in control. I think, feel, and believe. There was another article that I read regarding AI, and it was saying how people are so afraid that they're going to lose jobs, right? Me and a few people a while back was having this conversation. Is like, whenever technology advances, someone loses a job, but it opens up a job for somebody else. That's just a part of nature, which I don't like it because of the type of technology we're talking about, but it's still a fact. It's still true, right? However, that's for people on the bottom of the totem pole, because the technology advances is usually from some type of managerial or supervision position. Yes, you can always hire someone from the bottom to become a supervisor or a manager and kind of get the recirculation of that location going. Sure. But now we're talking about AI taking the position of the supervisor or manager away from the human element, potentially. So, one person even made the mention, like, you can get AI to take the order, but you're not going to get little robots to bring the food to the table. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's put some pieces together, shall we? Because we now have the gig economy where you got a business that you place your food through this app, and it goes from the phone to the restaurant to the merchant. The merchant then sends a signal out to a potential delivery person, and she or he picks the food up and they bring it to the customer's home or their door or their job or whatever. Remember, they're already working on self-driving vehicles. In the next 10 years, this is my guess, when self-driving vehicles are a little bit more perfected and the bugs are worked out, you're only going to get human element at a ghost kitchen type of restaurant where there's going to be the cook or the cooks and someone bringing the food from the merchant to the self-driving vehicle. And a person will have to come out and get their food or their delivery. Is that going to be the total means? No. Because you're going to have the technology to where, okay, this person lives in an apartment complex. They live on the second story or higher. We're going to need to send a human to do that delivery. Because who the fuck else is going to go up those stairs? Okay, great. But if it's a residential, you come out the house, get your own food, and go back inside. You won't have to worry about tipping. You won't have to worry about compensation for the driver because it's already put into the price. That is where we're headed. I guarantee you. I say by the year 2033, that's where we'll be at. There's going to be more humans doing labor work and or janitorial than there will be in corporate offices. AI is going to be. It's going to be a bunch of Tony Starks. There's going to be a bunch of Tony Starks. But the AI is going to be the main one in control. They'll just talk to the human to get a human factor, to put a human element of the situation. So basically, I think in the next 15 years, the AI will become the elitists and the human being will become the puppet. And I feel that's exactly where they're afraid of society getting. Chickens are starting to come home to roost. And high society, I feel, isn't ready for it. So either they're going to continue down this road thinking they got an antidote to their problem, or it's going to be a setup for failure for them. And we all seen that scene in I.Robot. It's your boy D-Cal, the E.I.T.H.R podcast. Appreciate you guys taking your time for this. Check back for episode 121. We got some great stuff going. And I promise it's the next conversation is really going to make some people mad. Love you guys. Okay. Bye.